Welcome to Eclectrics Presents, a bi-monthly broadcast supporting the performing arts, sharing intimate interviews with our special guests. My name is Angela Viscido, founder of Eclectrics Video Production, producer, videographer, editor of the Seminin broadcast, and a workaholic. Tonight's premiere show for 2021 features master guitarist Steven Bloom. Mr. Bloom's musical journey has embraced so many genres, including rock, jazz, Broadway, blues, Brazilian, Latin style, which has resulted in a two-part broadcast. Part 1 ended our 2020 series. If you missed it, you can see it anytime on our website.
And I played in quite a few small groups when I was a teenager. I graduated from rock and roll to jazz fairly quickly. And so by the time I was 15, I was playing gigs in Manhattan, with all black bands playing for all black people. And they would dance to anything we played, no matter what it was, they would dance to it. And this percussion teacher who knew me, Fred Wickstrom, he comes up to me, he says, "Hey Steve, I hear you're playing for Peggy." And I said, "Peggy? Peggy who?" He says, "Peggy Lee."
I'm rather proud of these marvelous musicians, really an all-star orchestra. To name just a few, there's Mundell Lowe, Fritz Hillman, Steve Blum.
And I said, "Peggy Lee? That's who I'm playing for?" I've heard it from a few Brazilian musicians that I'm the best American they've ever heard playing their music.
And here we go with part 2, kicking off of Eclectrics Presents for the new year. To Steven Bloom, cheers.
Steven, tell us about the Masters of Deceit.
Well, after a gig with Peggy in Miami, another Miami gig. And in 1968, I stayed down there with a friend of mine that I had gone to school with from the university, and he got a call from a guy in Indianapolis, Indiana, that had a band, and they were looking for people to play. Everybody up there had dropped out. I didn't know what was really going on. But in 1967, on my way back from Los Angeles, I had some time off from Peggy. In 1967, I went out to LA, to see what was going on out there. On my way back, I accidentally discovered Jimi Hendrix. I ran out of money in Columbus, Ohio, and I was waiting around for a friend of mine to wire me some money, and some college dudes took me to their dorm and played Jimi Hendrix. So all of a sudden, by 1968, me and my buddy, we were looking to get into the rock thing. We both had eyes to jump on that, because that was what was happening, and that's what people were listening to, and that's what they were going to hear. So we get this call do you want to come to Indianapolis, Indiana and be part of this band? The leader's name was Tom Hensley. He wrote all the music. He was a local keyboard player and did a television show. He was the music director. He had his fingers in all kinds of pies. So, I mean, my first jingle session was done for him in Indiana. He had the contract for Dodge Dart. It was a Dodge. So I said, yeah, let's go. I was game. I was just game. That's what thought I wanted to do, was go into the rock direction, And he had original music. So I got myself this big amplifier, and me and Gary Campbell, who was a saxophonist, he became the bass player in the Masters of Deceit. He sacrificed his sax playing to play electric bass in that band. We got on a train to Indianapolis, 19 hours from Penn Station. We showed up in Indianapolis. There I was. The band started to rehearse. We found a house to room in with an with a musician, and he had some rooms and stuff. And the band started to rehearse, and we started to play. And the first gig I think we played was a dance at Indiana University, and that's. We would play for the Freaks and the radical leftists. And that's where I met Michael Brecker. He was a student, about a year younger than me. And I met him there at Indiana University, and he was in a band. He was in a jazz rock band at Indiana University. He got banned or thrown out of the Intercollegiate Jazz Festival for playing rock. So I hung with the Masters of Deceit. We started doing gigs around, Portsmouth, Ohio, Muncie, Indiana. We went to Chicago and played this big rock club where all the big rock bands were playing except for the Stones and the Beatles. Everybody else played this club.
So how would you describe the music of the Masters of Deceit?
Eclectic, and it was called the jewel of the early U.S. prog rock bands. My playing was described as the unification of psychedelica and jazz. It was an experimental band. It was experimental, and we kicked butt, instrumentally. I mean, we played the Scene Club in Manhattan, which was where Joe Cocker made his U.S. debut. All the rock bands hung out there. The groupies hung out there. Jimi Hendrix hung out there. In fact, I invited Jimi Hendrix to sit in with our band, with the Masters of Deceit, because Mitch Mitchell, his drummer, sat in with us one night. So I saw Jimmy in the afternoon. He came into the club for some reason. I asked him if he wanted to sit in with the Masters of Deceit, and he said to me, "Oh, well, man, I don't know, man." I said, "Okay, bro. Okay, later." All right. So the Masters of Deceit didn't get the big break. It didn't really catch on, and Hensley went back to his wife and kids in Indianapolis and pulled up their tent and went to California, where he became Neil Diamond's music director for 50 years. And my hopes, my dreams were, went down, because I was hoping, that the band become famous. What did I do after that? I got back with Peggy Lee for a while. My buddy Wayne Wright, who was one of the guitarists that worked with Peggy, calls me up and said, "Peggy's got a gig in Central Park. She needs you. You gotta have a 12-string guitar." So, I had to double on that. So I borrowed that from my friend. I showed up. It was 1970, 50 years ago. And this last summer, she played out in Central Park outside.
How was that?
Beautiful. The Thad Jones Band was behind us. Strings, 3 guitars, Beautiful summer night, you know, the crowd loved her. Yeah,
Is that
it was beautiful.
all there is? Is that all there is? If that's all there is, my friends, then let's keep dancing. Let's break out the booze and have a ball. If that's all there is. And when I was 12 years old, my daddy took me to the circus, the greatest show on earth. There were clowns and elephants and dancing bears, and a beautiful lady in pink tights flew high above our heads. But as I sat there watching, I had the feeling that something was missing. I don't know what, but when it was all over, I said to myself, is that all there is to the circus? Is that all there is? Is that all there is?
What was your relationship to the musical Les Paul?
Well, yeah, I was aware of who he was when I was young because of the TV show that he did. But he wasn't that much of an influence on me musically, influence on me as far as multi-track recording goes.
Inspiring you to investigate multi-track recording on your own?
Yeah, well, I listened to what he did, and I did things, you know, tried things myself along the same lines. Yeah.
How'd that go?
Good. Some of my very first recording, people told me it sounded great.
Was that especially important to you at the time? I know it was 2011 you made it, but was it does it carry into a theme of what you'd like to be doing today, or not really?
Well, what I tried to do in that recording was, it was kind of like a musical travelogue. I had lived in New Orleans and I had spent time traveling the Caribbean. So what I tried to put together was a bunch of tunes, from a Haitian tune, a Brazilian tune, a sort of a travelogue, you know, of music through the Caribbean and the Americas. That was what I tried to do with it. So each track was different. Each tune was a different picture, you know. So it wasn't just what you would call a straight-ahead jazz record, you know. It got a good review in Roots magazine. The guy said I was a master of different styles, not a jack of all trades, which was good to hear, you know. Thank you. It was my one and only love.
Mr. Stephen Blum, thank you so much for taking your time in this lovely, beautiful day to be here on Eclectrics broadcast, sharing a bit of your everything with us. Yeah. And I just want to say thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for the
being here.
interest,
Yes.
whatever, what can I say? You got me out of the house.
Well, wonderful. We're happy to hear you.
Thanks.
Tell us your stories and also to hear your music. Thank you so much. I'd also like to thank Jane Blackstone for her wonderful hospitality up here in Peekskill. And I want to also
And Louis
thank
for
our
security.
producer, Angela Vecito. Thank you so much, Eclectrics. Rock on.
Hello again, public broadcast friends. It's a wrap. Thank you for tuning in to Eclectrics at 7. See you in 2 weeks. Wishing you all far and near a healthy and joyful new year. Cheers to all the music lovers in the world.